I always think that as a small business owner, whether it be wine or another industry, is you got to have a mindset of who you are and what you are. And the mistake some folks make is they try to be everything to everybody. And, sometimes that can be your own worst enemy, right?
Oh, I ask this question of my friends in the community all the time. It's name one winery that does more than one thing well.
Right.
When DRC goes down, on the tombstone of DRC, it's going to say that they make Pinot Noir.
Right. Right.
And that's it.
Right.
When Rouleau and Koch and Dagenham, when the tombstone is written, it's going to say they make white wine.
Right.
And Napa Valley makes Cabernet.
Right.
Don't try to do too many.
Even the dog agrees. The dog agrees, right there. And so you're one of the winemakers that has really embraced social media, new tech, and promoting your wine. And so I find it really fascinating watching some of the things that are on LinkedIn that you're involved with. Explain kind of the process of how you became involved in that.
LinkedIn was my first social app. I remember being part of LinkedIn back in 2002 when I first started. Even earlier than that, I can't remember. Reed Hoffman, amazing. But I love LinkedIn because it's a professional platform.
Right.
There's not a lot of, for lack of a better word, a lot of bullshit on there.
Yeah, it's more professional.
It's a community of people that you know that you kind of grew up with, that you've met through, whether it's through high school or college or business school or journalism school or on the job.
Right.
And those are people that it's an awesome place to keep in touch. So and they all want to kind of like it's a professional version of Facebook for it. It is just such a great platform. But so the content I use on LinkedIn versus the content I put on Instagram versus the content I just tweeted for the first time in my life this year in 2022.
Okay. How did that go? Did that go
was
okay?
Great. It was great. Well, I did it as promotion to market. I'm writing a cookbook. I'm writing it in real time, and I'm releasing all of it. I'm publishing all of it on a weekly and a monthly basis.
Oh wow!
So we're 6 chapters in. We're 5 chapters in right now. 6 chapters starting now in December.
And the dog once again queuing in. This is great.
So I use all the different platforms based on their aesthetic quality and based on their reach.
Well, hey, I mean, I think you're doing a great job. We've, over the last few years, kind of segued from doing a radio show to doing social media and promoting wine, food, drink. And the thing that we see is a lot of winemakers, a lot of wineries are a little hesitant to do the social media thing. And I understand that. It's not an industry that, it was, hey, we're into social media. It's kind of been a slow step-by-step thing, which is interesting, which creates some opportunities for winemakers to really reach out to an audience or a future customer directly. Yeah. And so I love it for that reason, and we have a lot of fun talking to folks like you and finding out what's going on in the wine industry through their eyes. Yeah. And so it's really great. So what are some of the plans you have as we come up for a new year?
Well, for me, I'm going to be launching a whole NFT platform associated with my brand. I am building Mascanal, the metaverse. It's designed, but it won't be implemented until 2024. The metaverse is still a very vacant place at the moment. Right. But I'm looking at new technologies and blockchain in ways that I want to use them, I want to see them used. So kind of similar to when making a unique wine in Napa Valley in 2009 that no one else was doing. I'm looking at the blockchain in a different way that no one else is doing. And it's neither here nor there with regards to whether or not the wine industry adapts it or not. I'm not doing it for the wine industry. I'm doing it for my brand and my customer base.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing, is we can all work within an industry and go, hey, the industry's doing this or that, and I can be part of that, or I can kind of blaze a trail of how maybe I see the future, the NFTs or metaverse, and go, I'm going to go down that trail right now. It's not very crowded. And I'm going to be one of the first one there, and we're going to see how that goes. And everything's an evolution anyway. Your brand's going to evolve. The industry's going to evolve. Society is going to evolve in how they approach wine. And so I think you're doing some great things. I'm really excited to watch on LinkedIn or other social media platforms your story kind of unfold and continue to unfold.
And it takes time. I mean, you mentioned about wineries being reluctant to dive, into the social media space. Social media is such a a fast-moving entity that, and wine as a
Right.
concept it's grown over a season. It's cellared and aged. Wine is about patience and time and length of time. It's not about socially happening on an ongoing basis. So I do think that we, as an industry of authentic small producers, and I'm speaking about Napa Valley, Sonoma County, we are not built for wine is meant to be enjoyed slowly at the table over a couple of glasses over a couple of hours.
Right, right.
It's a different mindset than that. So you can capture that moment in time and share it, but it's definitely a different concept. Social media is definitely a different concept.
All right, one final question for you, Dan, and this is a question we kind of ask everybody. That's how do you see wine continuing to market to a younger generation, and how is wine important in their lives? Because it's a little different than kind of how we grew up with wine. How do you see that working out as wine continues to be a part of their lives, but it may be socially a little different ballgame, right?
I don't think I don't think there's going to be a massive change in consumerism from generation to generation with regards to how consumers think about products. You leave college, you get your apartment, it's an IKEA furniture. When you're 30,
you get kids, and
you get 30 years old, and you're making a little bit more money. Maybe you buy some Pottery Barn and then Crate and Barrel, and then you're making a lot of money. When you're 40, you're buying restoration hardware, and so I think we evolved that way. And I think drinking the same way. We're not binge drinking. Right. Not drinking out of kegs in our, we did in college. Right. You go and you define yourself by what you're going to drink next. And when you elevate out of that, that age range, you start to explore. Sure. And wine wasn't a big part of my life until I was, probably in my late 20s, early 30s.
Sure.
So the other thing too is there's 55 million kids right now every day throughout the world on Roblox.
Right.
And they're under 16.
Right.
In 20 years' time, they're going to be in the prime position to purchase and to be and then have generated wealth.
Right.
And we have to be thinking about what that looks like. Wine businesses aren't about today; they're about the future. And if you're not looking at your future potential customers and what they're doing today, that's going to inform their purchasing power later. That's your shortfall. It's not mine.
Right. Exactly. We all have to take that look into the future, I guess, into the future. Dan, I want to thank you so much for taking time to have a cup of coffee with us this morning and talk about the wine industry. And like I said, look for Dan on the metaverse. Look for NFTs. You're stepping into the future, and I think it's really neat to see how that works out for you.
No, it's just also we talk about authenticity. Well, my big passion is art, whether it be digital or works on paper, photography. So why would I not pursue art? If it's my authentic passion, especially if Masakan is my authentic passion as a brand. So I try to bring them together and see if it works.
Masakan Winery, check them out online on whatever social media platform you're on. Do you have a website?
Yeah, masakan.com.
Okay, easy enough. Dan Petrosky has been our guest, winemaker of the year in the San Francisco Chronicle. Also, you find his wines on the top 100 list of the Wine Spectator. And thanks so much for dropping by, Dan.
Awesome, appreciate it.